Namaskar, I am Dr. Sushma Kumari, presently working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Sanskrit and Yoga at Shiva Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh. On the occasion of International Day of Yoga 2020, I am going to put forward my views about yoga and some points in a very simple language so that each and everyone can understand the yoga and adopt the yoga in his or her life. Before going in that explanation, I would like to put forward about the International Day of Yoga, how it started. In the year 2014, on 27th of September, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, he put forward an idea related to yoga. He emphasized on the to adopt the yoga worldwide in the Assembly, United Nations General Assembly. Since then, it was decided that International Day of Yoga will be celebrated on 21st of June. First time it was celebrated on 21st June 2015. Each and every year a theme is being selected on this occasion, and in the year 2020 the theme selected for International Day of Yoga is Yoga at Home, Yoga with the Family. This theme is selected due to the pandemic COVID-19, as it is highly communicable disease. Therefore, it is very important to maintain the social distancing. Mass gathering is not advisable. So, it is advised that each and every person should perform yoga at home with the family. If a person is residing lonely, he should perform at home. So, today I am going to explain about the yoga, as in this year it is very important to adopt it, as due to this pandemic we see daily in the news that the anxiety, depression, other psychological problems, suicidal tendencies, suicidal thoughts, such kind of problems are increasing day by day, and due to the inactive lifestyle our physical health is also deteriorating. Many persons are facing many health problems due to inactive lifestyle. So, it is very important to adopt yoga, as it will provide you physical, psychological, social, spiritual, every kind of benefit to you. So, one should adopt yoga in his or her life. So, let us start with the explanation of yoga, that what is yoga. The literal meaning of yoga is to connect or to join. So, with what we should connect, with what we should join, it depends on the each and every person, that with what motive a person is performing yoga. For example, if a person performs yoga for his physical benefit, to stay healthy, to maintain his physical health, in that case the yoga means to connect with the good physical health. In some terms, if a person is performing yoga to have mental peace, to maintain his mental health, in that term here yoga means to connect with the best mental health. And in spiritual sense, when a person is performing yoga, then it means to connect or to join our outer self with our inner self, or we can say to connect with that highest ultimate power. So, and we have listened a lot of branches of yoga, we can say like Karam Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Mantra Yoga, Lay Yoga, Raj Yoga, etc. Today I am going to explain about the Ashtanga Yoga, which was explained by Maharshi Patanjali. So, according to Ashtanga Yoga, there are 8 limbs of yoga. So, let us see the 8 limbs of yoga which are mentioned by Maharshi Patanjali. The first limb is Yam, second limb is Niyam, third is Asan, fourth is Pranayam, fifth is Pratyahar, sixth is Dharana, seventh is Dhyan, and eighth limb and the last limb is Samadhi. And we are going to see these limbs explanations one by one. The first one is Yam. Yam means the self restraints. These are the self restraints which are mentioned by Maharshi Patanjali, and to make a good personality, to make a good conduct. The first Yam is Ahimsa. There are 5 Yam explained, subheadings are explained. The first is Ahimsa. Ahimsa means the non-violence. Second is Satya. Satya means truthfulness. So, one should adopt truthfulness as well as non-violence in his life. Third is Asteya. Asteya means non-stealing. So, here non-stealing does not mean only related to the object, but also related to the non-stealing of the thoughts of other person, views of other person, if one does not want to share with one. The fourth type is Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya does not only means the sexual fidelity, but it means it is a broader term. It means a very good kind of self-control. A person lives in a way so that he must have the very good self-control. Since very earlier time, as the sexual activity is correlated with, or it is a good example of self-control, so Brahmacharya nowadays this term is directly correlated with only sexual activity. But in my point of view, not only the sexual activity, sexual fidelity, but a very good sense of self-control. A person lives in a way, if he has a self-control, is called the Brahmacharya. So one should live in such way. The last type of yam or self-restraint is aparigraha. Aparigraha means a person should not possess so many things which a person does not need. So these days we see that a lot of people they have the habit of possessiveness of each and everything, even when they don't need that thing. So we must have the habit that we should not possess the extra things which we do not need. The second type of limb is niyam. Niyam means these are the observances or the rules which we must follow. There are 5 niyam, 5 rules which are explained by Maharshi Patanjali. These are Shauch. Shauch means purity. Second is Santosh, means contentment. Third is Tap, which means the devotion or dedication. Fourth is Swadhyay. Swadhyay means the study of the self, and the last one is Ishwar Pranidhan, means devotion to the God. If we look at the first type of observance or the rule which we must adopt in our life is Shauch. Shauch means purity. The purity can be in a physical way, it can be in a mental way, or it can be environmental purity. Physical purity we can gain it by having a bath, by cutting our nails, by washing our hands so many times a day, or by taking bath, by cleaning clothes, by brushing teeth, etc. These are method of physical cleaning. And mental cleaning, if we talk about the mental cleaning, mental purity, we can have mental purity by having devotion in the God, by meditation, etc., by working on our mind, by controlling our mind or thought process. Third type is the environmental purity. So we should clean, or we should keep clean our environment, our society, our surroundings where we live. Second type of rules or observances which we must follow is the contentment or the santosh. By having contentment in our life, a person become very happy. If a person is well contented, he is very happy person. So here a person must be happy in whatever thing he has. Here must be, he or she must have the power of acceptance of each and every situation he is going through. So that is called the contentment. Third type is Swadhyay. Tap. Before Swadhyay is Tap. Tap means the dedication. One must dedicate it to his work, one must dedicate it to the task one is performing. Whatever the person aims for, one must dedicate his life, his work to that aim. The fourth type is Swadhyay. Fourth type of niyam is Swadhyay. Swadhyay means the study of the self. One must have to study himself daily. One must sit daily to observe himself and to have a better path of living. The fourth type is Ishwar Pranidhan, which means devotion to God. If a person devotes each and everything to God, then he does not have any kind of fear of failure. And if one does not have any kind of failure, there is no any there won't be any kind of stress or anxiety or depression, etc., to a person. Therefore these first and second limbs of yoga are very important, yam and niyam, that is self restraints for the good conduct, and the rules which one must adopt in life. And these two limbs are so important that Maharshi Patanjali has given them first and second rank out of 8 limbs of yoga. The third limb of yoga is asana. Asana means to perform to make the different body postures which are comfortable and steady. So before performing the asana, one should observe his state, like some person have cardiac issues, some person have metabolic issues, some person might have a prolapse intervertebral disc problem or cervical spondylosis, etc. So there are different indications and contraindication related to each and every kind of asana. So every person should know about indication as well as contraindication, and one should perform asana or one should learn the asana from the yoga practitioner. If we will look at the benefits of asana, it gives us many physical as well as mental benefits, physiological benefits. We can say that performing asana, it strengthens our body, it strengthens our musculature, it improves our metabolism, it improves blood circulation, it balances the hormones, it improves the secretions of enzymes or other secretions of the body. So at each and every level, performing asana provides us benefit. While performing asana, one should keep in mind that you must engage your mind to your while performing the body posture onto your body, so that your mind also becomes stable or static. So it is very important. Performing asana is also a very good mood elevator. If you are feeling anxiety, stressful condition, then one must perform the asana, different kind of asana. The fourth type or the fourth limb of Ashtanga Yoga is pranayam. Pranayam means it is a breathing technique in a very controlled way. As routinely we inhale and exhale, we don't think about our inhalation and exhalation. But in pranayam, we focus our mind on our breathing, and the breathing is in very controlled way. So here we see that Anulom Vilom Kapalbhati, everyone used to think that these are pranayam, but Anulom Vilom is a technique of purification of our nadis. Nadis, these are the channels in our body in which the energies flow inside our body. So Anulom Vilom, with the help of Anulom Vilom, we purify our channels or we clear the channels so that the energy can flow fluently in our body. And Kapalbhati is also a purification technique of the body. It is not a kind of pranayam, but it also benefit our physical body, because it is a purification technique. The pranayam, different kind of pranayam you see here are Surya Bhedi, Ujjayi, Shitli, Sitkari, Bhastrika, Bhramri, Mucha and Plavani. These are the types which are being mentioned. So different kind of pranayam we can perform as per our need, as per our situation. I am not going to detail these kind of pranayam, but the major benefit of performing pranayam is as mentioned that tata kshiyate prakasha varanam, means as you see there is a source of light which is covered with many layers, and a person is not able to look at that source of light. By performing the pranayam, a person is able to pick up those layers from that source of light and is able to see that source of light very clearly. So here we can say that by performing the pranayam, our mind becomes it comes in our control, and we can control our mind on our breathing, and we can see the source of light. Our vision becomes about the things, about the views becomes very clear in a very positive manner. So performing pranayam is very important to each and every person. It gives us physical benefit as well as it gives us mental benefit also. The fifth limb of Ashtanga Yoga is Pratyahar. Pratyahar means withdrawing our senses from outer world to the inner world. By adopting Pratyahar, one can stop being controlled by the outer world. So Pratyahar is the connecting link between our journey from outer world towards our journey towards the inner world. The sixth limb of yoga is Dharana. Dharana means to focus our mind on the inner state or at one point. The inner state can be to focus on in between the eyes or any other point on our body or inside our body. So dharana means to focus on the point. It is a state of mind in which we focus our mind on one point. The next limb, seventh limb of Ashtanga Yoga is Dhyan, which we say to meditate. So there is difference between dharana and dhyan. In dhyan, we are contemplating on the on whatever the dharana is being focused on. In dharana we focus at one state or one point, and in dhyan we start contemplating. We be on that point and we remain at that point in on whatever the dharana was focused on. So this is called the meditation. In this we engage our mind and we be on that state for a very long time. Next, the last limb of yoga is samadhi. Samadhi means to rejoin or the union with our motive with which we started the yoga. Like if someone started the yoga for the mental peace, if he achieves that, if he achieve his target, then that state is called samadhi, that he has achieved the samadhi. If a person is performing yoga for spiritual person, if a person think that he has joined with that ultimate power, then that term in that condition the samadhi term is being used. Therefore, the samadhi is the last limb of Ashtanga Yoga, in which the person he achieves his aim, final aim with which the yoga was started. It can be the aim, it could be the physical aim or the mental aim, it could be the any kind of behavioral change, or it could be any kind of spiritual aim. Therefore, these were the 8 limbs of yoga which are very necessary for a person to adopt in his or her life, and one must think that we should start these all 8 limbs of yoga. So finally, I would like to conclude here that it is the need of the hour, especially in this year of 2020. It is very important to adopt yoga in his life, not only asana, pranayama and dhyan, but you should adopt all these 8 limbs of yoga, because it will improve, it will maintain, or it will promote your personality, your physical body, your psychological condition, your spiritual health, spiritual path. It is going to uplift you in each and every way. So try to adopt the yoga as a whole, not only the asana, pranayama and meditation. With this, thank you all. Thank you.